Well, hello there, and welcome to the Joe Mars podcast. My name is Joseph Maramba. They call me JT, Mr. Mars, Vamaramba, Uncle J. The list is endless, y'all. But for the sake of consistency and somehow get a grip on this whole what's your name kind of thing, it is Joe Mars. The Joe Mars podcast is now available on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and on my website as well. I'll be sharing those details on the description to this video and to this live event. So make sure that you stay connected with the Joe Mars podcast each and every now and then when we bring you cool content as we always do. Today, we are headed to the UK to have a conversation with a young lady who is somewhat a globetrotter. She was born and raised in Bulawayo. She went to school there, moved to the US for work, and was transferred to Cambridge, UK. I know everybody would love to stay near Cambridge or in Cambridge. I don't know, for some academic reasons. That is where she's currently residing. She's been singing for most of her life, and the song that really caught my attention was the one that she did with a gentleman by the name of Skaiva called Shingirira. I heard it and I was like, what is wrong with us? Why is this music not popular? And it left me with so many questions. Like, how do we fail to market our own sound and artists so well as to have them get ready for the world? That was a couple of months, if not a year ago. Obviously, that is changing now with so much social media being thrown at us. There is so much that is going out to the world. But again, it calls for us to have these conversations because sometimes when you listen to a new sound, to a new song, to a new artist, you might not really understand the nitty gritties of that artist. Sometimes you need some relationship to build up between you and the artist that you're listening to. You need an understanding. The same way we would love to understand our partners. So with music, it's the same thing. That is why people would rush so much to buy a lot of Wako Jacko songs or you name it, Eminem, because there was that relationship being built. And so this is the reason why the Joe Miles podcast was created. And I would love to thank you for all the effort that you're putting in downloading, subscribing, liking the content that we're throwing at you. It just feels so good to have that support, especially from Zimbabwe. And it means a lot. So let's welcome to the show before I go on bubbling. You know, I do that so many times. To the show, Joy Rukanza. She's affectionately known in the music circles as Joy. She's worked with Denny K, Kid X, Tamba, Skaiva, and is on her way to become, I think, one of the biggest acts from Zimbabwe. She joins me all the way from Cambridge. How you doing, Joy?
Hey Joe, how are you?
It's Joe and Joy. Get
Joe
that?
and Joy,
It's
JJ.
kind of
Such
JJ.
a
It's kind of nice,
powerful
eh?
tech team.
Just such a powerful tech team. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm a little bit tired because I just finished a whole day of work, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to our conversation. Like these kinds of conversations are always refreshing. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm tired. All those mixed emotions. How are you?
I'm good. We are under a lockdown. Not a lot of things going on for ourselves, but you know what? We have to make do with what we have at the house always.
That's right. It's been really
Mm,
sad, and all of these things going on, like people dying. It's like such a very strange time to live in, but we can only be grateful, like for being
mm.
able to live, and also to have this conversation. It's like some people didn't even see, uh, the dawn of the day
2021.
today. So I'm just grateful, although it's depressing. I must say, it
Mm.
has to end now.
It
Yeah.
has to end now. I agree with you. I agree with you. If we're ever going to disagree on this conversation, then so be it. But I agree that this whole thing has to end.
Yeah.
And we can only hope and pray that it ends the
Mhm.
soonest.
That's
You're
right.
looking you're looking very beautiful, shiny, glowing, not shiny,
Thank you.
glowing. And I love the hair, the
Thank
diva
you.
like kind of attitude that you've got
I
going
did
on
that for
there.
you. I did that. I'm so honored to be part of the show. I was just like, okay, what am I gonna do? What can I give you? And I was like, yeah, maybe I can just give you some hair here and there, like a little bit
Okay,
of
okay,
glam.
okay,
Never
okay. I
hurt
think
anybody.
never hurt nobody, girl. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I think I love it. So if I love it, I know everybody else who's watching loves it.
Thank you.
No two
Thank
ways
you so
about it.
much. Thank you.
Let's talk about you. That's the reason why you came here. And I want to. There's something that I wanted to do
Mhm.
ever since we decided and we started talking about this show. Okay, and it was to do with the very first song that I listened and that I heard
Mhm.
from you. Shingirira. I don't know if that is your first song. I don't know. But the fact is, when I heard it, I was like, okay, so where is she and who is this woman singing in a really, really lovely voice, singing Shona, and obviously is Zimbabwean because you can always tell if some South African, Botswana, or Mozambican starts learning Shona just for a song.
Yeah.
Definitely I could just tell this is Zimbabwean, and and this song just got to me. It got to me so bad that for the longest I was just hoping and praying that one day our paths will meet, and they did. Let's talk about that song before I ask you anything. Let's talk about Shingirira. How
Yes.
did you manage to just create such a, which I think in my opinion is a hit, a Zimbabwean hit.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you love it. And it's when Skaiva and I were making that record, we didn't even know that it was going to have that reception. We recorded Shingirira when I had finished high school. So I've already graduated from college. Like this is my second year of school. So we recorded it a long time ago. And Skaiva set on that song up until he released this EP against all odds. That's
Mhm,
when he released Shingirira. That's also when he released Peter, which is also a song that I'm part of on that EP. And then it's like it was released in 2015. I think we had recorded in 2014, 2015, 2016,
mhm,
I think. And then it was released like 2017, thereabout. And how it came about, he was like, "Oh, I have this song that I want you to record. I already have the chorus concept." So it was like on the concept, on the chorus, I want you to say Shingirira,
mhm.
Shingirira, Shingirira. And then
Yeah.
I had to figure out how I was going to write the verse and come up with the melodies and everything. So I have a very good friend of mine. Her name is Capital. She's a poet. She is very clever with words. And around that time when I was working on Shingirira, like I was not confident about my songwriting at all. So I sent her the voice, like a voice note with the beat in the background, and I was like, "Okay, this is a love song. We're writing about a love song, blah blah blah. And can you please help me with this?" And then she gave me like lyrics, and then I had to find ways of mixing that with things that would work and what wouldn't work. And that's basically how Shingirira came about. Skype had a beat and a job concept for a chorus, and then I reached out to my friend so that she could help me with writing the lyrics. And that's how it came to be. And people love it so much. Like each and every time people play it in clubs and on radio, my friends are always sending me voice notes because they know that I'm never in Zimbabwe to actually witness that great moment.
Mm,
But it
mm.
makes me so happy that people resonate with the song. And it was released a while back, but I guess we can stretch and say it's a little bit timeless. I'm thinking I don't think that we can ever listen to it sometime and be like, oh,
I'm
okay,
not.
well, it's really
I'm not gonna
timeless.
argue with you on the timeless part. I, I, I,
So
I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue.
yeah,
To be quite honest, if you listen to it today, it just sounds fresh. It
yeah,
sounds. It sounds hip. It sounds cool. So,
yeah,
it's a sound that I was never like. You know how it is. Growing up in Zimbabwe, right? There's kind of music that you think Zimbabweans are supposed to produce,
yes.
or there's a certain sound that Zimbabweans are supposed to sing
Hmm.
in, or a genre in which they're supposed to sing in. And then when I
Yes.
heard this, I was like, yo, this is really cool. Why are we not having many artists, or even the very same artist, which is you, going on and on and on and doing the same music? But that's the reason why you're here. You keep on doing that. So hey, we celebrate you. Thank you very much for coming through. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for the
Thank you
music.
for having me.
Let's
Yeah.
let's turn our focus into just talking about you for a moment, because the song, a couple of people are listening to it right now. It's below our voice, but it would be nice to just have an understanding of who Joy uh, Rukanza is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where you grew up, obviously, in Bulawayo,
Yes.
and I did say a little bit about your history there. But what sets you apart from almost everybody else that grew up in Bulawayo?
People are gonna be mad at me and I say what sets me apart, what makes me special. But yeah, so my name is Joy Roslyn Rukanza Kanza. So my last name is not Rukanza. I just shortened it on Instagram so that people can be able to find me easily. My last name is like long, so like I think more than like 10
Hey,
characters.
my last name is Maramba, and I shortened it to Mars, so nobody's
But
crucifying you.
that's cool. That's like 3 syllables though. It's really cool. Like, oh, Maz. People call me
Well,
Rooks. People call me Rukanza. People call me Rukanza Kanza. You know, like the
mhm,
last name just has so much weight. But
yeah.
yeah, I definitely you can relate to like long last names and stuff. But yeah, I was born and raised in Bulawayo, and I went to school. Like I changed primary schools 4 times. I started. My parents and I were living in Pumula North, so I went to Malindela, and then we moved to Pumula South, which is like our permanent home. And in Pumula South, I went to Dumezweni Primary School for like a year, 2 years, and after that I went to Ngwalo Primary School, and then I did 2 years and eventually settled. I decided to settle down in one school, which was Robert Treadgold, where I did grade 5 through grade 7, and
You say
then
that
back.
like you say that like you were holding the choices into whether you're staying at this school or not. You know that?
Yes, because first of all, yes and no. So, I
Okay.
mean, my parents were moving around. Like, the reason why I moved from the first school to the second one is my parents had bought a permanent home. So, we moved around, and then I settled and I went to Dumezweni, which is the school that was like the closest school to where we had settled. It was still a new, like, Pumla South was still new back then. So, there was only one school, which was quite far from home. So, when another school opened, we moved from that school further, and then like I went to
Mm.
Guadalajara. And then when my brother started going to primary school, I was like, I also want to go to school in town. Why am I still going to school here? And then my dad was like, okay. It was a matter of saying, oh, okay, you're gonna go. And then I eventually went to Robert Treadgold, and he went to RTS, which is Robert Treadgold, for like the 7 years of his life, but I just did 2 years with him. And then I went to Cezanne, and spent 6 years there. Did a lot of activities in high school: music, debate, public speaking. You know, I was involved with different clubs. And I guess when we talk of what sets me apart as someone, as Joy, relative to my peers, is that I guess I really did take advantage of my high school days, and I found myself being involved in a lot of clubs and activities. And you know, while at the time it was overwhelming, I'm really grateful for having had taken that opportunity, because I feel it has a larger contribution to who I am and to what my path has been like. And
Mm.
you know, I continue to be grateful for all the mentorship and my teachers and everything, because essentially everything that I am right now is because of what I was doing in high school. And yeah, and then after high school, I went to University of Zimbabwe, where I did like law school for 2 semesters. I was going to be a lawyer, but then I realized that I really did not like it at all. And then I eventually moved to the US to pursue a degree in international studies. I felt like I should pursue something in international studies because it was a little bit closer to law school. Because even though I decided that, oh, I'm not going to do law anymore, there was this constant guilt that I was feeling, you know, that, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. So I tried to find something that's closer to that. Yeah. And I graduated college, and I started working in New York. And then in the midst of working, I was transferred by my company because it has different offices in the world. And then I was moved to the London office. So right now I'm supposed to be working out of the London office, but we have like lockdown. So I'm in Cambridge with my friends,
Mm,
also working from home.
mm.
So that's just basically me in a nutshell. Like you were saying earlier, like I tend to move around a lot.
Globetrotter.
Mm,
Globetrotter is the word I used.
yeah.
That's a very big nutshell. That's a very big
Yeah.
nutshell. But I'm glad we went through that because you know it sort of sets the tone of who you are and what you have become. And I love the part where when you were moving around. I wish I had done that in my primary school or in my high school.
Yeah.
I have one primary school, one high school. It is kind of boring if you want to. It's very very boring. But having
Yeah.
all of a mixture of friends from this school and others from the other, and etc etc, it just makes it worthwhile, you know. I'm
Yeah.
sure your friends outnumber mine by virtue of just all of this high school and
Yeah.
primary school that you went.
Being a
Mhm.
newcomer, I was always the newcomer. Can you imagine? Every
Mm.
year, I would have to be the
That's
newcomer at school, and
I wish.
have to go through those awkward phases where you're introducing yourself to people. But you're right. I have a lot of friends, like different parts of the world, and because of what
Yeah,
I've done.
that's really cool. So who in your family do you take up to? Is there anybody in the Rukanza Kanza family who loves singing, who's doing something artistic?
Um, Not my little brother draws a lot. Like he's very good, like at drawing portraits. Um, Apart from that, I really don't know anyone except for like a cousin of mine. His name is Nyasha Rakanza Kanza. I always see him like doing some music stuff. We've never had that conversation though about music, but I guess he's the only person that I know apart from my brother who does
Mm,
something that is artistic. So yeah,
mm.
I really, yeah, I guess it was just something that I decided to do. I can't really attribute it to anyone in my family being a strong influence.
Okay, okay. So I think maybe it's okay to say and proper to say, you know, you are pushing the boundaries of whatever your family has been up to or whatever your family has been known for, and you are breaking new grounds for them. So it's kind of cool as well. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? I know in my family there's never been a broadcaster before, so
Yes.
sort of, yeah, I sort of understand. It's nice to break new grounds.
Yeah, it
When
is.
when did you then pick up singing? Is it because you did a lot of things at school and primary school and stuff like that, that music stuck with you, or you sort of had this idea that, you know what, maybe I would look cool having an interview with this guy called Joe Mars later on in the future or something like that? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I had a dream like maybe 15 years ago that I was going to have a podcast with this guy called Joe Maz. And I was like,
Oh
how can
wow,
I actually be on the podcast? So I was like, yeah, maybe I should just start picking up singing. And
I
then
need
one
to start
day
singing. Yeah.
we'd hopefully come together and have a conversation. But I'm just kidding. So I started singing when I was in primary school. I remember there's this time when I think I was in grade 5, and then our teacher wanted us to do like a campaign song against littering in Bulawayo. So she literally came up with a song, and then we sang like a gospel. I think the song exists. And then she just substituted some letters and lyrics, and then we started singing. And I think they were like, "Oh, you sound good," and they started making me sing leads for the song. And I was like in grade 5. I was in grade 5 at that time, and then I remember also doing drama in primary school. I think grade 6 thereabout, and also being involved in like music related activities around drama and choir. And then, yeah, I really didn't want my family to really know about this music thing because I was not confident. I was shy and I didn't want to sing in front of my family up until my aunt, who was a teacher at the time, realized that I can sing. So she called my mom, and then she was like, "Oh, do you know that your daughter can sing?" And then that's when my family started, actually nurturing that and encouraging me to do more of music. And when I went to high school at Cezanne, we had a choir that would sing school hymns on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I joined the choir out of love for it. And that is when I actually nurtured the voice. And I was given all these responsibilities. I was that girl who would always start singing lead, and from a young age, like I picked that up, and I became like a choir captain, I think, when I was in Form 2. And I was responsible for like people that were in Form 6 and stuff. So that made me, I thought that was cool, but at the same time, like, it gave me a lot of confidence, and made me realize that I could definitely go far with the music thing. Yeah, it's where I started. And then at some point when I was waiting for my A-level results, I think that's when I connected with Skaiva. So Shingirira is not the first song that we did together. And then we're doing just some, actually I connected with Skaiva before finishing high school. And then we would do some projects, and he still has some of the first songs that we recorded. And I also recorded with like Mrs. K when I was still in high school. I remember I was in Form 6. I remember going to his studio, actually wearing my school uniform, and then, like, recording something. So yeah, like, I guess being involved in the school choir helped to help me pick up this music thing. And I started to experiment with people that were doing music on a commercial level. So that's how I picked it up.
I'm telling you, if I was your parent, I was going to be very, very cross with you and very, very protective, because I mean, during high
Yeah,
school, that's the most important part of your education, and there
yeah,
you are going to studios wearing your school uniform. I mean,
yeah,
yo, I'm telling you, my mom would have had a fit.
yeah,
I think, yeah, BP 8 to Tanga should have BP then, and it would shoot just
yeah,
straight up, knowing stuff like that. But you know what? It's important to, at this juncture, to just celebrate the fact that your parents and your family was supportive. And although you say I was kind of hiding it from them, I didn't want them
yeah.
to know. I'm sure you knew the response that was going to come.
So
If you,
so the
yeah,
reason why I was hiding it is, like, I have this thing where if I'm working on something or I'm doing something, it's like I just want it to be perfect, and to, I don't know. And the reason why I was hiding it is not because of the reaction that they were going to give. I was just like feeling like, okay, why would they want to know that I do this? And of course, my mom actually gave me like so much positive feedback. She would allow me to go and record with these guys, and I guess one thing that I did to make sure that I wasn't subjected to strict rules is that, like, basically I was a very good child. And there wasn't anything that she could say, oh, you need to focus on school, because I was already doing the most that I could with academics and everything. So they were very supportive, and I was able to balance all of that. Yeah.
mm. I think if you strike a balance, takes me, while we're at that point, if you strike a balance of education and just being a good person naturally at the house, no
Yeah.
mischief, no whatsoever. If you call for the moon, your parents will give you. The biggest
Yeah.
problem that our youths have today is they want to do whatever genre they pick up, right? I wanna sing. And then the parent is largely paying for school fees, go to school, etc., etc. And then they're flunking at school, they're
Yeah.
fighting at school, there has a whole lot of stories coming from school. And then straight after you get rebuked, the next thing is like,
Yeah.
I want to become a musician. That's where it
Yeah.
kind of just throws everything away, and
Yeah.
everybody just feels, you'll be worse if you become a musician. But I'm happy you
Yeah.
went through a somewhat proper foundation, and you didn't disappoint on either side. That's the reason why we're still talking to you about the music. So tell Skaiva, we want the old songs that you did. What's happening with those?
Um, I don't know. Like, you know how producers operate. Like, even if you're
I
to
don't
go
know.
to, oh, you don't know? So what producers do is they'll produce music, and then they'll have like thousands and thousands of files, like, of beats that they produce, and they're like, this is not good enough. Maybe I can do better. So that's what Skaiva did, actually. He did that with the song called Peter, because it eventually became part of his album. was it an EP? Became part of his EP, and then we had done that song a long time ago, man. Like, so what producers really do is that they'll like sit on top of the beats and not do anything up until they feel like, okay, this is good enough to release. So yeah, he definitely has to listen to this and release the old music. Although I must say that during those days we were still practicing. You know, I did not know how to project properly, so I guess I guess that's why the songs are not out. But
Okay,
yeah, we
okay.
have
We
beautiful
can't
tunes.
we can't blame him. I mean, maybe he noticed something. Maybe there was a little bit of not now,
Yeah,
girl, not now.
yeah.
Maybe since he's the producer, he knows his
Yeah,
stuff. So we're not
maybe you
gonna.
noticed also like from his production side as well. It was like, oh, maybe is this beat fire? Like, you
Mm,
know, it's a little bit of both. Like sometimes producers are like their biggest critics,
yeah.
and especially Skaiva. Like you record a song with him, you get it 7 years later. I'm not kidding. He works like that, and you have to like, you know, if you record something with him, don't expect it to be released like anytime soon unless he's working towards actively doing that. But otherwise, most of his projects have
A
like a very
long
long
time
span.
span.
Like you have to like 7 months after a year when you've forgotten about it. I guess that
Mm,
works for him as well because I know that sometimes producers, and I say this because I recently worked with Murphy, and he's not the type of person that wants to constantly listen to a song when he's recorded it. So he knows that he's going to spend so much time mastering the song. So once you record something, he doesn't want to play it. He doesn't want to listen to it because he wants to get to a point where he misses the music, so that when he goes back to the recorded track, when he's now mastering, maybe like a month later, it feels like a fresh beat and like a
mm,
fresh project
mm.
for him, and that way he can give his all. So it's weird, but it works for him.
It works. It's weird, but
Yeah.
it works. So did you get any like musical training for your voice? Because when I'm listening to your voice, I mean it's superb. Did
Oh,
you get a chance to get to music college or music education sometime later after maybe working Nabo Skaiva and stuff?
no, I did not actually. I think most of the training came from my involvement with the high school choir. I know it's funny when I tell people I used to be like that person that would start singing the song and then the choir would back me up. But I literally did that twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for like 5 years of my life. So you can imagine that that process was enough to, and I also did it in weekends as well because our choir was quite good and we would get invited to some gigs during
Mm.
weekends and then we would do that.
Your
So
choir
yeah,
was good. Your choir was good. I was in a choir, but our choir was, I mean, we only sang on a Sunday, and it was
yeah,
Sunday only, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, so I understand now, and I do understand how choirs work. That I understand, other than production part.
yeah,
So if you're saying you were singing on a weekdays, 2 times during the weekday, and
yeah.
also on weekends, you were
Yeah,
good. You were
I
what
would
was the
be I
choir?
would be the person that starts the songs.
Mm,
You
the
know
lead
those
singer.
gospel artists, yeah, yeah. Like the Sipo Matabane type of just kidding, not Sipo Matabane. But you know, like you start a song and then everybody like backs you up. So I would do that. That helped a lot. And we had like some choral competitions where I think I was taught to you know, like I guess my range got to be like bigger and bigger as I practiced more, and I would go for all these competitions. So I can literally sing fully blown opera like those Emmys really guys because of my experience in orchestra. Yeah. Cracking the glasses and the windows.
Ah,
So you
nice,
know
nice.
that opportunity was really great. And when I went to college, I also it wasn't like a class. Yeah, I took a chorale class, so it wasn't like vocal training or anything. It was like a class where people that are so into music came together and then they prepared for the whole semester for this one show. um so we're doing Mozart's Requiem, and you know, like, yo, that was like the wildest thing that I've ever done. And I guess a lot of the training continued as well by me taking that class and performing, blah blah blah. Yeah, and also after high school, actually, I also joined like a community choir called Bulawayo Choristers. We actually went to South Africa for like a competition. And
Okay.
I had to sing like a solo piece, like the first soprano piece for that thing, for that competition as well. So it was. So I've gone through process. I've never gone to someone and said, "Hey, can you help me like train my
Mm.
vocals?" But I've gone through processes that have helped me to like sound better vocally.
I tell you, you can never go wrong with choral training because it is
Yeah,
basically the same thing that happens when you are getting maybe vocal training personally or for whatever performances you want to do, whether you are an artist or whatever. And especially when you were singing solo or you were a soloist, that means you were given this whole responsibility of learning
yeah,
a large number of repertoires, and I think that that always calls for a greater musician back in the in the future. A lot of people shun it. It's like he sings in she sings in a choir. It's they're
yeah.
always singing these boring songs and and stuff like that. But
Yo,
that's proper vocal training. I don't want to lie because
yeah,
I've been involved in choirs for for the longest, and I love
yeah,
choirs. I mean, I love choral music, so I know that's really a perfect start for any musical career.
yeah. Choirs are amazing, very
Mm.
amazing.
So now let's fast forward to you having had this whole experience within the choirs, and etc. etc. You find yourself you are studying in the US. Uh, did it by any time in in your life back then? Did you ever think I want to do music full time?
Um, I did think about doing music full time. I thought doing music full time at the time when I was still in college was not going to be great. I had a lot of people reaching out to me saying, "Hey," especially like a very good friend of mine. His name is Tinashe. Tinashe would always call me and say, "Hey, why are you sitting on your talent like that?
Mm,
Why are you not recording music?" But I feel at that time I had so much to worry about. Like being in a different country, you have to figure out how to get your grades on check so that you can get a job. And because if you don't get your grades on check, then it means you can't get a job at a company
mm,
that is probably going to be interested in sponsoring or hiring someone that's an international student. So there are layers upon layers of problems that I had to think of and prioritize. Obviously, like academics at the time were very, very important for me. And also, like vibe wise, I just didn't feel like I was in the best spot to make music. Although, uh, uh, although that was the time that I actually did a track with Inner Soul because he heard my song with Skaiva, and he was like, "Yo, I really love your voice. Let's work on a record together." So that's the first time that I ever got to work with someone from South Africa. And then he was like, "I'll pay for studio time." Studio time is also another thing that helped me determine that, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do music full time while I'm in the US because studio time is very expensive when you're in the US. I think you pay something close to 300 for an hour for you to just use the studio. Record something without even any manipulations to your vocals. So it was quite
sure.
expensive. But he was like, "Yeah, I'll pay for studio time. Please, let's work on a track together," because he was very interested in us working. So yeah, all those conditions that were happened, like all the conditions that were present at the time when I was in college, did not allow for me to express myself musically. Also, I did not want to. I did not want to. But then when I finished college and I had spent about a year working full time, sometime last year, I had a very interesting conversation with a friend that was like, "You know what, you really need to start working on music and going into music full time. I mean, I get it, you have a job, but at the same time, you should pursue your passion." And it was a
Mm,
great conversation that also was. I followed up on that conversation by purchasing like studio equipment. I was like, I'm gonna purchase my own gear and I'll see what will happen from that. So I did for my birthday, and I purchased my own
you
gear,
gave
and then
yourself a birthday present
I
of
was like,
studio
this,
equipment.
yeah, studio equipment. Yeah, I was like, there's no reason right now for me not to buy this.
Oh,
So
okay.
I bought it, and it's the same equipment that Murphy Cubic and I used to record all the songs that are going to be part of the album that I'm going to release sometime in April.
Mm.
So that's where it all began. I felt like it wasn't the right time for me to do music, and last year was like the perfect time for me to actually venture into music.
Wow. Everything has a reason, and
Yeah.
everything has its own time. I'm glad that you didn't drop the ball and say, "Look, I don't want to do music at all, never again." It was
Yeah.
just one of those things. I mean, almost everybody who's got a passion, in fact, creatives sometimes have this battle in their minds of, I want to feed the family, but at the same time I know my creativity can take me somewhere, but it's not going to take me somewhere instantly.
Yeah.
I need to pay the bills, something like that. So it's always in at the back of our minds to say, what do I do first? We know what we want to do first, but
Mm-hmm.
the economics of the land, what's happening today, is what would determine what we do first.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't drop the ball on that. And I love your voice. I love the music that I've heard so far, and I cannot wait for more. And I would really love for people to sort of experience what I've experienced so as well, and enjoy the music.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, to everybody who's joining us on Facebook, it is the Joe Mars podcast. We're hanging out with Joy, and all the way from Cambridge. How far are you from the Cambridge University? Is it like the same hood?
It's closed. So the reason why I didn't get to tell you this, but so I was transferred from New York, and then my company was like, okay, you have to work from London for a certain number of months, right?
Mhm.
And then like right now, London, like everything is closed. We're on like level 4, I think. So people are not going to the office and so on. So when I moved here, I was like, there's no reason for me to be in London because I don't know anyone like personally that's in London that I can hang out with. So I decided to move to Cambridge because I have one of my great friends that goes to Cambridge University. So it's very
Mm,
close. So that's why I decided to like move over
okay.
here to just hang out with her and work from home. I'm not sure when we'll go back to working from the office. So I think it's a
Yeah.
very quiet place and it allows me to be sane. It's like a very homey area. It's not. Also, I was very tired of the city, man. Like I was tired of
Yeah.
being in New York and like the loud traffic sounds at night and everything. So it's a very sharp contrast. Um, like New York and Cambridge. So yeah,
All right.
I will.
We love it. I love it. Listen, Charity Tando Bebe says, "What's your dream collaboration?" And by the way, before you answer that, any one of you guys who's watching this video, if you want to send Joy a question, please do so. We're hanging out with her for the next couple of 20 or 30 minutes left within this interview. She says, "What's your dream collaboration, Joy?"
um, like Frank Ocean, like he's my number one artist. Like I love that man so much.
The
That's
way
like
you
my
just
inspiration.
the way you just cross over, like, I mean, like eh, are you not afraid of some of these genres? Like, I do know you were singing. I watched that video where you were singing some Frank Ocean. Was it Frank Ocean or Maxwell? I think on
Yeah,
a
Frank Ocean and Maxwell, both.
exactly. Um, but the way you just want to cross over, because if I was Frank Auction and you say I want to do a song with you, and I'm like, send me what you've done before, and I'm listening to house music and I'm listening to some little bit of, I'll be like, girl, what do you what way why do you want to go here? Why is
Yeah,
that so with you? I mean, why is it you want to work with so many different genres? You had house, and I don't know what I should call the new day song with Kid X. I don't know what I should call that, but I'm still struggling. But I'm sure you know. And now
hip
you want to
hop
do
slash R&B, I guess. Like,
exactly. You understand? And then
yeah.
Frank Ocean now. Why is that so?
I think that, like we shouldn't box our creativity. Um, I believe that there are certain sounds that are essential in expressing certain emotions. Hence, the reason why I tend to experiment with different sounds, with different genres, because I feel that there are certain messages that I can better send if I'm to sing in a high falsetto, just like Maxwell. Like, for example, if I'm to cry in a song, right? without making you see like that I'm crying or hear that I'm actually crying. I can opt for that genre to best express the emotions that I have. So I'm always that person that advocates for not boxing ourselves and saying, oh, I'm strictly like a neo soul artist, I'm strictly R&B, I'm strictly, hip hop. I think music is very dynamic, and the more you experiment with the different genres, the more you get to see that the possibilities are endless. So yeah. And like I love Frank Ocean a lot, and I'll say, in order to back up what I just said, my forthcoming album does not have one specific genre. Like if you listen to it, you're not going to say, this is where I'm going to categorize this person, because I chose to be creative and to, like experiment with different sounds.
Wow. Wow. I love that. And if you're not restricted to any genre, the limits are endless. Like, I mean, you don't have to think about the next thing that you might just come up with. I
Yes.
mean, you can just basically create anything that feeds your heart, your soul, your mind, anything, as long as it makes you
Yeah.
happy. So that is a characteristic that you do not find in so many artists, especially artists coming from our motherland, where they want to venture out of their comfort zones.
Mhm.
So it is really, really cool that you think about that. I've got another question coming through from Charity in Tando, baby. I guess she says, "What's been the most shocking realization since dropping your first single?"
I've had a couple of those. First of all, I guess one thing that shocked me was the reception of the song. I dropped the song New Day on the 8th of January on my YouTube channel, which is a very small YouTube channel that people should subscribe to. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, like, what are you doing?
Okay,
So
okay. You're
my
just
number.
gonna plug yourself. Plug
Yes, I'm
yourself. That's
using
okay.
this in paid partnership with Joe Maz. I'm advertising
Okay.
my YouTube channel right now.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
like
Go ahead.
I thought, okay, I was very, very scared, very skeptical about, dropping the song on such a very small platform, to the extent that I even thought of, okay, should I drop it in like bigger YouTube channels that have like thousands of subscribers? And there's a part of me that, was like, okay, you just have to be proud of where you are, and the music will travel on its own. So I'm just really shocked by how the music has been able to travel on its own. And then I'm really, really shocked by the fact that I have listeners from different parts of the world who are vibing to the music, who are liking the music. And in such a short space of time, like approaching like 50,000 views on YouTube. It hasn't been 2 weeks. Like I think it's been like a week and a half since we released the song, and it's really shocking how supportive people are. And I guess another shocking element has been, the amount of work that goes into releasing a project. So this came as such a shock to me, because like I told you, like I've always been collaborating with people like Skaiva and Soul. They were taking care of like marketing, promoting the music and putting out in the world. But I never got to experience all that business aspect. And so, me working behind the scenes to make sure that everything is set before release is something that made me stronger, because there were certain times when I actually felt like this is really, really tough, because you come across all these different challenges. So, yeah, it was a realization that came prior to releasing the single, that there's just so much work that happens behind the scenes, and every person that gets to be involved in that process has to be highly credited. Like I have a very powerful team that does the ultimate most, and I'm really, really grateful to be with those people, because without them, I wouldn't have done what I've been able to do. Because there's just a lot that happens that people don't get to see before the inception of the project. So yeah, uh, that's just about it.
I love that. I mean, I always have this conversation. By the way, Ifa Nhlapo says, "Hi Joe, it's Tamsanga." Okay, my click is it lacks a lot. But she says black coffee's friend. Okay, black coffee's
Oh,
friend. Black coffee's friend is on the platform. She says, and it says, keep up the good work, girl. So yeah, they're
thank
your friend.
you.
Going around.
Thank you, Tom Sangma. Say hi to Black Coffee.
Tell him to join this stream, and share this video or something like that.
Share the
Join.
video, comment, like,
Yeah,
subscribe.
yeah, something like that. Listen, I wanted to say when you pick up the other responsibilities such as the marketing, the producing, or even the distribution, etc., etc., then it kind of makes you an all-rounder.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you might just be in that position where you might shoot yourself in the foot. Like, you know what, you think you can wear these so many hats, but at the same, and then it all fails, and then there's nobody to actually say, hey Joe, I needed you to market this album, and I've had, I haven't seen anything going out and stuff like that. At least you can have somebody to shout it. I'm not saying have
yeah,
somebody to shout it, but I'm saying when you pick up these so many hats, uh,
yeah.
doesn't it kind of confuse you? Like, don't you just want to focus on the art and just say, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'll have a team for this and that. I'm sure you have a team, right?
Yeah, I have a team. It's
Mm.
like I'm part of the team. It's like yeah, I have a very, very effective team. Like I'm very grateful. Like I wouldn't have done what I've been able to do um, without their help and without their insights. So I'll speak to the fact that I think it's important to have a team and to have different perspectives, because there's certain things that one can easily overlook that can be detrimental towards the success of the project. So if you have like people that can provide like a perspective and say, hey, you want to try this is not going to work, I think it helps. At the same time, it's
Mm,
very important as well to also make sure that while you have a team and you're seeking advice from different sources, you're able to filter that and keep your circle smaller, because it's very easy for you to get advice from different people that can give you stuff that might have worked for them, that may not work for you and your situation. And at the end of the day, you end up having like a product that has way too many hands.
mm,
So yeah,
mm.
I think it's very important to have people, but then it's important to also figure out how to use the resources that they offer you.
Wow. Do you mind if we listen to your new song? Do you
No, I do
mind?
not.
Do you mind? Do you mind? Do you mind? Do you mind? I just wanna. I'm not, obviously I'm not gonna play the whole song. I wish I would play a video, but you know what? This whole setup doesn't allow that. And just watch you. I saw the video. I watched the video. Really cool video. Very simple. Down. Basics. You didn't try and
Yeah.
go over the top. It was, but it is a good video. I mean, it speaks what you are talking about in the song.
Yeah.
What was like your mindset in creating this new song with Kid X? As you've already alluded to, on YouTube, it has been watched over 40,000 in just less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That is something you most probably did not expect, but
Yeah.
that's the power of social media right now. You
Yeah.
put in something there, you don't know who you're going to attract, and if you attract that person, they're going to attract 20, 30 more people. What was like your mindset going into writing this song?
I was looking into like writing a love song that I think with everything that's just happening, even I'm sure you can also attest to the fact that you've seen how people are now normalizing the fact that, like love is a concept that one cannot enjoy. If you're in a relationship, then it's going to end in tears. I'm sure you've heard how people are now normalizing the whole aspect of
Yeah.
saying, oh, it will end in tears, it will end in tears. So I just wanted to create something that deviates from what we are now normalizing in this present day society, and just remind people of that old 90s love, like that love that people, that the R&B singers like Joe Thomas would sing about. I
Mm,
wanted to
mm.
to to, to allude to that, and like just bring back the good old love songs, and write, and then give people hope, people that have been in toxic situations, and relationships. Just give them hope, and just say, you know what, like regardless of like past experiences, you have a chance at love. So yeah, a love song, simple love song, and yeah, that basically reassures people that love does exist. Love will find you. I'm a firm believer in that as well. Do you believe in love,
Mm.
Joe?
I believe in love so much. If we start that conversation, it's going to take us tomorrow. But hey, but
You
you know
know,
what?
I
You you certainly sold your song to me quite instantly. I mean, because I'm an 80s boy. So
yeah,
90s is when we were rocking to such kind of vibes,
yeah,
where you'd get this kind of cool R&B coming through from Aliyah,
yeah,
Monica, and stuff like that. So it kind of just reminded me, wow, it's
mhm,
very hip and fresh as well, very current.
yeah,
It just kind of took me back to that time when we were
yeah.
vibing to songs like this. So
The way
we
people were singing in the rain, and those slow,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. Love.
yeah.
So I don't know if you can hear the song on, like, can you hear it?
Are you playing it right now? Because I cannot hear it.
You can't hear it.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So okay, there you go. Let's go. There we go.
Let's paint the night sky while we wait for a new day, new day. I wanna love ya
Can you hear it?
like the first love the
Yes.
I like
sunrise.
I like the
I
doom
wanna love
doom
ya
doom doom.
like my heart's never been
Yeah.
hurt. I wanna love ya like the first love the sunrise. I wanna love ya like there's no end. I'll be your baby girl. You
Yeah,
be
that
my baby boy.
eh eh
I'll be your baby girl.
eh eh
You be my baby boy.
eh
Yeah,
eh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I be sipping on bub, puffing on blood, I'm feeling your blood.
Love
Fell on
that.
my
I
knees
love
and
this
spoke to
part.
the
I
Lord
love
to
this
send me
part too
something straight
much.
from
Too
above.
bad.
Yeah.
It's like a drug that fix me up. Some of the feel the void inside my heart when I feel like ain't enough. How could it be? Look in the mirror, see the reflection of the self, so hard to believe. All of the things I've been chasing straight up flat. All
Wow.
my life, had to reflect.
So what
Communication
happens?
with
What
myself.
happens?
Since the only way to love is when you learn to
Are
love
you
yourself.
constantly
One thing about
scrolling
real
on your
love is
Twitter
it
and you're
don't cost
saying,
a
okay, I want to work with this guy, and I think if he comes through this kind of song or whatever it is, how does it all happen for you to sort of select the right kind of voice or the right kind of rap on your track?
Okay. So yeah, Kidx is like my first collaboration, and I'm really honored to actually. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a song with this guy. It's unbelievable because I'm such a fan of his work. Um, and the reason why I chose him specifically for this record is that I thought he would be able to give me what I needed for this kind of a song, like based on the work or on the projects that he's released in the past. He's a very, very thoughtful person and so knowledgeable, reads a lot, and it's like
Mm.
the kind of person that writes consciously. And so I just needed to have someone that
You'd easily get along because you also read, like, education wise.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, like how that collaboration happened is that I'd always been a fan of his, and I would always sing his songs, and I sang one of his songs, which and he ended up seeing the video on social media, again alluding to the power of like digital connection and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when him and I started talking, and then um I also have been in live interviews that he has had, like live conversations on Instagram. Like I joined one and we had a chat about his song that he was promoting at the time, and we kept in touch. And last year around September, I reached out to him and I said, "Look, I have this project that's coming up, and I think you would be great." He was like, "Okay, cool. Like you've been a, like a very strong support system for me. I would love to help you with this one." So yeah, it was purely like a connection that happened on social media, on Instagram, and
Mm.
it really made me so happy just to have him on the song, and even his verse as well. Like when I
It's just
received his
it's
verse,
just
I
so
was like,
cool. It's
yeah,
just so
yeah,
cool.
So cool. Such a simple verse,
So
and like he did
very
think
dope.
about it, and he was able to gel in with the theme and to bring out the subject that I was hoping the song would bring out.
Mm, wow. Congratulations on that, eh?
Thank you.
Congratulations on that song. I love the song. It sounds really, really cool. By the way, guys, if you haven't watched the song, it is on YouTube. There's a whole video on it. It's a really
Mhm.
good vibe. It's a really good vibe. I'm telling you, it's one of those things that one of those songs that you could really vibe to, doing your chores in the house,
Yeah,
just
driving,
driving.
especially with the beat, dun
With
dun,
the beat, with the beat. It is
that
just
dun
so
dun.
cool, man. It's just so
Yeah.
cool. So I love it. I love it. Thank you very much for that song. Sindin Lofu, thank you very much for coming through on Facebook. Ifani, Charity, as well as to you, Ricky Wrights, Innocent Sanyao. I'm just trying to have everybody who's been a part of this show. And thank you so much, guys, for coming through. It just feels very warm around here when you've got people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you being Zimbabwean. I know you are in Cambridge in the UK. Who would you like to work with in Zimbabwe? Who are you vibing to right now?
Right now I'm vibing to Natty O. He is so cool. He's fresh and I think he's very talented, very creative. I like his approach to music, and I think we could definitely work on something great. I like Holly 10 as well. I like Pro Beats as well. Pop Tame has a very beautiful voice. Like people in Harare, they're like really, really, really changing the game. So yeah, those artists are really, and also Anita Jackson, such a beautiful lady with a very beautiful voice, super talented.
Wow.
It's really inspirational to see people around. I'm not sure how old they are, but I'd like to believe we're in the same age range, like peers, and it's very inspirational to just see them do the things that they are doing. So yeah, definitely I'd love to work on something with people from back home.
Oh
Hopefully one
wow.
day we'll get to do that.
I would really love a collaboration. This is just me. I'm not saying hey, and I'm not giving you any hints, but just me. You know how
No.
this thing that you've got this killer voice, and
Uh-huh.
sometimes you're looking for this killer rap.
Uh-huh.
I think our Kiwe would be somebody you could just, do something. Two
Yeah,
ladies.
actually we're friends. We are friends
What?
with our,
Okay.
and it's so crazy because it's like, you know, our and I have known each other since 2014,
Mhm.
and I started knowing her when she was working on a project, like she was doing a photo shoot and so on and so forth. And like I went to meet up with her, she did the photo shoot, blah blah blah. It was to promote her music. She was still in Zimbabwe at the time, and we really did connect. And the funny thing is that we've never been in a situation where we're like, let's make music together. She knows I sing, and I know that she raps, but
Mm,
we've never been in a situation where we're like, oh, I'm gonna do a song here. I really
mm,
need you to come and do this. Although we do consult each other on music related issues, and of course, I'll be more than pleased to like work on something with her. Hopefully one day that will happen, even though it hasn't happened since, like, we've known each other for like, this is like the 6th, 7th year we've known each other.
mm.
But yeah, she is fire, and she has like a very dope song which is out, and I'm sure that you've seen how she's been making waves on these Twitter streets and everything.
You see what I'm doing? You see what I'm doing? What does this sign mean? Where's my camera? What
Time.
does this sign mean? Time. Time is
Yeah,
of the essence. Don't hesitate on such things, man. Time
we'll
is
make it
of the
happen. i
essence.
will
Make it
i will
happen.
hook her up. I
Make
will
it
hook her
happen.
up. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
If you
definitely,
want me to
definitely.
write the song, I can write it. You guys can just sing it.
Yeah, yeah.
If
I'm
you
sure
want
she
me to
has a
write
lot
the
of
song,
like, yeah, she's going to be dropping something soon. I think she's working on
exactly.
an album. So I think rappers are always looking for like someone that will put in a verse and so on and so forth. So I'll definitely call her and say,
Some mellow
hey,
tunes in there.
uh,
Yeah.
let me be on there. I don't have to actually ask. I just have to say, hey, I'm on this. Put me on track too. Yeah, because we have a relationship.
Okay. Let's talk about you. Your album. When is it coming next? When is it
April.
coming? April. You said April.
Yeah.
Any dates so far?
Not yet. Not yet. It's going to really depend on, like, so after like New Day, of course, like the plan
Mm.
is to like start working on dropping the album, and I have some other songs that I am looking into releasing prior to the album release. So that's why I'm not yet sure in terms of dates yet. But I know that during the month of April or early May, that's when we're going to like drop the project and introduce my sound to the world fully, so that you can
Mm.
get to see that I really experiment with different genres.
Okay. And man, I just wish this COVID ends very soon. The
Yeah,
love that you're getting from all over the world, you go and spread it as much as you can as well. A couple of shows here and there.
yeah.
I would pay. Obviously, I won't pay, but I would pay.
Why would you pay?
I'll be like, I need my tag. Where is my media tag? Somewhere, somewhere, something like that. But you know what?
Yeah.
Listen, to be quite honest,
Yeah.
I just hope and pray that this COVID ends. We've got so much talent, and
Mm,
I want to be able to tell you this, and I've been telling this a couple of people as well, and this is no lie. Zimbabwe is going to blow up, and how it's going to blow up, I'm not a prophet or anything, but how it's going to blow up, I just literally have it in my mind right now. Bulawayo will be like the epicenter of that huge earthquake.
mm.
And there's just a whole lot of vibe that's coming from Bulawayo right now
Yeah.
that I do not see anywhere else.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking for the greater part of the situation that we are in right now, it's good for that because people have the time now to go online, Twitter, Facebook, etc., and just really get to understand who is Joy, who
Yeah.
is Our, who is Asaf, and etc. You know what I mean? Who is this and that? People now have the ability to really take the time because most of the times it's the media coming, bam, there is it, there it is. This is Winkity. No offense to
Yeah.
Winkity. This is Japreza. No offense to him as well. It's the media. That's just how it's structured. But with the online media, we have a chance to say, okay, I really don't want to listen to whatever is being played on radio right now. Let me go on Twitter, on Instagram, stuff like that. And sometimes when you have these connections where you actually have an interaction with your
Yeah.
fans and stuff like that, it brings about a big fan base. It
Yeah.
changes your fan base and the possibility of actually being a household name to a lot of people. So I think to a greater part or to a smaller nyana part, it's a good thing that we are locked in and
Hmm.
we are watching everything from afar. But
Yeah.
I would want as well the greater extent of all this is just for it to open up so that we can have an opportunity to watch acts like yourself on stage, interact, and all of these things. I think it would be a great thing. Can't
Yeah.
wait. Can't wait for
It
that.
would really be cool. And of course, I totally agree with you that right now people are spending so much of their time on social media discovering new talent and also like getting to see how people do things differently. I can
Mhm.
testify to that myself. Like I've been exposed to a lot of work from people that I've never heard of before just by
Mhm.
being on Instagram or just by seeing a recommendation on Spotify, Apple Music, and looking at what people are posting on Facebook. Like we're more connected than we have ever been before, and with everyone at home, it's like a chance to see what's happening around the world and how to best make the most out of it. And I totally agree with you that Bulawayo is like bringing it on people like Awa, with people like Asaf. I mean, he just got nominated, just got selected to represent, like Zimbabwe, and that's like a very huge nod
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
him and his hard work and for the city as well. Because most of the things usually happen to artists that are coming from Harare or
Mhm.
like anywhere else but other than Bulawayo. So I
Mhm.
think I'm very excited about what the city is going to offer, and excited to introduce myself to the city and
Yeah.
get my
Yeah.
music out there.
That'll be
you
lekker.
know,
That'll be lekker.
yeah,
Okay, so I do want to tell you this before we do the interview, but obviously, because you are a singer, you have to sing. before we go out. Okay,
Who came up
so
with that rule?
I just did.
It's
I
like
just did. It's like
arbitrarily so.
if you interview a politician, you're going to talk about politics. They will try
But
and
we're
sell
talking
you the
about
world.
music right now.
And we're talking
imagine
about music.
interviewing imagine interviewing a pastor and saying, okay, give us the same one.
And if you interview a pastor, obviously you're going to get a prayer, a prophecy, any of those things.
Never
So if
sin.
a
Oh
musician
man.
would definitely give you a
Ay,
song.
ay, ay,
So it doesn't have to be a new day. It doesn't have to be
ay.
new day. It doesn't have to be Shingirira. It can just be from
Yo,
your upcoming album, a snippet of it. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. Show us what you got. The camera is on you. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing for the very first time right
ah,
here on the Joe Mars podcast,
yo,
an
Joe.
a
The,
cappella from Joy. Take
the
it away.
pressure is way too high. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to because we're speaking of new day and because it's the new year, like and people are going through new days. I'm gonna go ahead and like sing my verse on New Day, like a slower version.
I didn't
Um,
want New Day. I didn't want New Day.
okay,
I
which
didn't
one
want
do
New.
you want?
I just wanted something from the. Okay, maybe let's go with New Day. Let's go with New Day. Let's go with New Day.
Okay,
Yeah, let's go with New Day. It's fine.
okay. It says, "Ish, yeah. Wakomana msadaro."
Let's go. Let's get it.
Okay. Okay. Where do you want us to take this? Slow down, please, don't waste this. Blueberry baby, you can drink me up. Sun kisses, baby, I will let you up. I'm a moving target, I know you miss me. Too many my trips, I'm feeling dizzy. Cloud pillows in my room, that's why it's drizzling. You don't have to close your eyes. Fairy lights and shooting stars, this feels so right, so right. You don't have to say goodbye. Let's paint the night sky while we wait for a new doom, 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 doom. I wanna love you.
I wanna love you like the first
Yeah.
time. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
get the lyrics. I'll get the lyrics eventually.
The lyrics are
Thank you very
beautiful. We
much.
put them on Genia so that people can like check them out. So they are online.
Exactly.
And also like if you listen to music on Apple, you can like
Mm.
check them out as well. They're there.
Yeah. You didn't sing my favorite part, which is I'll be your baby boy.
I'll be your
I'll
you'll
be
be my
your baby.
baby boy. I'll be
Eh,
your baby girl.
eh,
You'll be
eh,
my baby boy. Do you want me to
eh,
sing the
eh.
verse?
The rap vest. I know you.
Yeah. No, I won't sing
No.
it. I won't sing it. People have to go and check out the song out on all digital
Yeah.
platforms, please, and listen to like Kidex. I really like what he did there.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joy Rukanza Kanza, for hanging out with me. Man,
Um,
it's been a blast. It's been good. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Joe. Thank you for the opportunity. I really loved the questions, man. I really love the vibe. So thank you for even creating platforms like this. I know that it's a lot of work that goes on as well from your end to have a podcast
Yeah,
and
it is
have
a
this
lot of
platform.
work. I have to be punching buttons every now and then and doing stuff
Yes.
like that. I am a one-man band,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Yeah. We really appreciate, like such
Mm.
platforms. I really think that podcasts are super amazing and people are going to learn about me. Like I know that some people don't know about me and they're going to definitely check this out and want to know more about me. So it's such a great platform that you're, like creating for artists like myself. And I'm not sure if you get thanked enough, but thank you for creating
They
this, like
they
taking
never
me.
do, but it's okay.
But I
But you
really,
know,
I really
uh,
appreciate it. I really appreciate the work. I
oh, that's
understand there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, man. Like testing stuff and also like
mm.
taking the
and
time
and
to.
and and okay, let me just for just this very little time just toot my horn. Not toot my horn, but just continue with the vibe that you're on right now, which is
Uh-huh.
and texting artists and individuals at odd hours and trying to get them on a podcast and trying to convince them that,
Yeah.
listen,
Listen, let's have
it
this.
can work.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. So
can
much work.
work. But anyway,
So much
thanks
work.
a lot.
Yeah. I really appreciate
Let's
it.
have this. Yeah. Thank you very much. Go and rest. Enjoy the rest of your day with your friend in Cambridge. And I wish you all the best. I cannot wait for the album. April asking, where is it? So I'll be waiting for that.
April. Yeah. Definitely, definitely. You
Yeah.
enjoy the rest of
All right.
your night as well. Keep safe, mask up, avoid crowds. You know,
We definitely do.
thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Joy. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.
That was Joy Rukanza hanging out with us today on the Joe Mars podcast. As you heard it right there, she's got a brand new single, New Day, featuring Kid X. I love it. I totally love the vibe. Not just because I am an 80s, 90s boy, but I think that's what Zimbabwe has to offer. And the moment we start supporting our local artists, the moment we support our local vibes, the moment we support the people that matter to us and we understand them and we sort of know where they're coming from, it gives us leverage, you know, against each and every other person within the continent or within the world. Not that we mustn't fall in love with other artists and songs from all around the world, no. But isn't it just a very proud moment when you are talking about musicians from your home country with other people who are also talking about their own musicians from their own country, that you include such names as Joy Rukanza, Awakiwe, um, Ja Praiser, Big Man, you name it, Asaf, all the other artists that are out there. Please check out these new artists that are coming through on the Joe Mars podcast at home with Joe Mars. We have had a young lady by the name of Ananya Coods. She's also really, really brilliant. You should check it out on this podcast and on my website. I'll be posting the nitty gritties on the description of this video. We also checked out Vuyo Brown. She's a gospel singer all the way from Bulawayo. I did tell you about Bulawayo. Mark my words, something definitely big is going to blow out from Bulawayo. So those are some of the artists that we've checked out as well. We've also checked out and we hung around with Vimbai Sumuto, who's got a brand new song and video, which she features Lero Gopal, the yellow card actor. So all of these are artists that we should be embracing and celebrating. Let's not be narrow-minded. Let's not have our blinkers on and just check whatever is trending and we go that direction. It's nice, yes, but there are other things as well. The outliers, the guys that are on the fringes, these are the people that we would love to support to bring them up so that they can also be at that high level. So thank you very much for coming through and hanging out with me. My name is Joe Mars. Until we meet again on this very same platform or any other platform that you listen to your podcast, it's a very good night.